Estrada from Schumann Associates. Just a little logistics. We're going to be using this app for the voting system during the session. So we have put a little bit some instructions at the back of the brochure that you will find on your chairs. So please download the app and then we will use it during the workshop. Yeah? And I think that I will give the floor to Claudia to start with. Thank you, Claudia.
Dzień dobry. Good morning. Bună dimineața. I am very happy and honored to welcome you to this session. This session was made in partnership with 3 institutions, and we are very proud to be part of this small consortium that organized this event. One of 3 institutions is COCIR, is the European Trade Association representing the medical and electromedical industries. The other one, it's very well known, Philips, is a leading health technology company globally present in more than over 100 countries worldwide. So you can imagine BIRDA, Bucharest, Ilfov Regional Development, being part of this small consortium. It's very honored position. Who is BIRDA? It's a non-governmental Romanian institution that has the capacity to implement regional operational program at the regional level. Bucharest, Ilfov, and Bucharest is the capital of Romania, as you know. And how we do it? According to the principle of partnership and transparency. So I welcome you from the bottom of my heart to this seminar workshop. So, dear guests, dear speakers, I hope next 90 minutes will be a wonderful time for you for discussions. And actually, I'm sure that next minutes are going to be wonderful for you because is going to be moderated by a special person. As you already know, it's a member of European Parliament, Mr. Jan.
Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the invitation, and especially to invite the politicians to speak about the technologies is a challenge, but I would like to a little bit to inform you and to explain what is going on and why so many different stakeholders or different actors in life are interested in the debate of the MFF. And the next speaker will speak about also the MFF consequences. But I would just want to draw your attention to the document which has been published by the European Commission last year. Last year, the debate was about the future of European finances. You know, the budget debate is not really very sexy for everybody. But in fact, this paper about the future of European finances was about the European Union. What will be the future of European Union? What we would like to do together in coming years? And when we speak about the enterprises, technology, etc., the real challenge is what we will do next 7 years inside the member states. what will be the policy of all the member states inside the European Union, what they will support and what they will not support, what we would like to do together, what is our common goal, and do we agree? I mean, we agree, I mean, all the member states, maybe without UK, but what we agree we should do together. For example, how about the responding to the new challenges concerning the new innovation system around the world? What about the reactions of Europe to what's going on in China in terms of technologies, etc.? What about for example, borders? Are we ready to support the border control? Are we ready to support the European enterprises in terms of technology? I can give you a very clear example. The last political decision is that we should support the new challenge, which is defense. What is defense? Defense is the money for the research, especially for the army system. I mean, research at the universities and research centers for the army, to have the one single market of the weapons in Europe, to have the unified system. This is a completely new challenge, I mean, for the European enterprises working in this field. Why? It's not because it's new, but this decision is to do it together. To do it together and to put the common money into the system. So are we ready to put to do it together and to put the money to these concrete challenges? How much it will cost? How much it will cost? So when we discuss MFF, in fact, we are not discussing money. Not only, we are discussing the future of EU. We are discussing what is the future of the European Union after Brexit, what will be the common interest and the common challenge, and what should be done. That's why we have a very, very important debate concerning, for example, the research. And you know very well that Horizon 2020 is very interesting, but it doesn't respond for the demand. The demand is much, much higher than the possibility. And the question is about the center of excellences. What is about excellences? Is it geographically balanced? But can we geographically balance the excellences in research and technologies? Is it possible? No, it's not possible. All the research, only the best should get money because they make the progress. So that's why at the same time we have to balance with the other funds which will allow the others to join the excellence centers. That's why we need the cohesion money. We need the cohesion money for member states to make step by step the progress and to join the others. That's why in the cohesion policy we are fighting for the smart specialization. It's just to show that we need a kind of balanced approach. But I think that's why when we discuss the MFF, of course the reaction is very political. When you listen to the debate today in Europe, some of the member states, they say, I will use the numbers, 1% of GNI, full stop. Is it about money? No. This is about we are not ready to enlarge the scope of the common action because we will not give money to this, 1%. In the contrary, the European Parliament says, sorry, but if we want to develop and to make the progress in Europe, we should make it bigger and more efficient. So that's why we propose 1.3. It's not by chance. I think that for today's discussion, it's important. The new instruments which has been proposed by the Commission, and we are now waiting for the operationalization of these instruments, like, for example, all these elements of the InvestEU. InvestEU, I mean, all the guarantee system going to different investors. But the question is, what will be the project? Will it really be guaranteed from the public money? There is a very clear shift from the payments and subventions to financial instruments which will go to the sphere of enterprises, business, technologies, etc. It's not by chance that you look at the and the content of for example, proposed spendings in the cohesion policy. The first priorities is about new technologies. First priority, the new technologies, digitalization, etc., to allow the citizens to take part in all of this. So that's why this is a big challenge for the enterprises. The real question is that when I, as a rapporteur, I am the rapporteur for next MFF. When I meet the ambassadors, by the way, ambassadors for Netherlands, for example, and the ambassador of the Netherlands comes to see me and he says, we don't need money for cohesion policy at all. We think that we should get zero because we can do it ourselves. Okay, but is it the policy which we can support? No. Because, you know, we as politicians, we are not the business people. But I think many colleagues in Europe, they say that European money, public money, it has a special role to play. This is not the question that the companies, like, for example, Philips or the others, they absolutely need European money. You know this is not true. The truth is different. What about the leverage of public money, European money? What possibilities it can open for the other investors? What about credibility? What about the trust? If the money is guaranteed for public money, I mean, the trust is different. So that's why around the world, the big companies, they are interested in taking part in the system of European money. Not because they need money, but they need the system of trust, etc. That's why, for example, we are fighting for the shared management. The shared management is not made in Brussels. This is responsibility which is divided, shared by European Commission and the member states and the regions and the cities. Shared management is the value itself, because this is what creates the whole system. So that's why I think that when we discuss MFF and we discuss European money, please do not forget that we are discussing, in fact, future of Europe. And we are discussing the relation between public sphere and the private sphere, about the public investments and private investments. What we would like to do together, how much it will cost. Are we ready to collect money and to put it into this? I think it's worth debating this, and I think this debate is also very important, even if it looks very technological and business-oriented. I mean, everything is linked in Europe, and we know it very well. And after my last visit in China, I must say I have even more arguments about what about the new technologies. If in Shenzhen I saw the change of buses, and 100% of electric buses just started 1 year, 100%. So I think this is I don't want to say that we are ready to do the same, but of course, we need a very clear decision what we really want. Thank you. Mr. Marek Przor from DG Regio.
Honourable Member of the Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for invitation to the Commission to give me an opportunity to present what we as the European Commission envisage and we proposed as for the new financial perspective. As you can see, in May and June we have given the proposal, and this is the set of over 30 programs. In the labyrinth of all the programs, I think this is quite a good overview what is there. The ones which are in the square are the ones which are shared management. And direct management and shared management does really matter because we have state aid rules in shared management. We don't have state aid rules in direct management. Shared management, as was said, is very much with participation with regions and the member states. So the timeline is now everything is in the process of negotiations with the European Parliament, with the Council. But I will present you what the European Commission proposed, and this is subject to further changes, amendments by the Parliament, Council, and the Commission. the common provisional regulation. I will look at this from the perspective of the European Regional Development Fund and Cohesion Fund, which because I'm from the Director General for Regional and Urban Development. This common provisional regulation is a kind of framework for all shared management funds, except agriculture, which is in separate set of regulation. And this is specific for European Regional Development Fund. European Regional Development Fund is going to, as we proposed, 200 billion euro in period 2021-2027. And as you can see, we wanted to streamline a bit the policy objectives to make it more, let's say, visible. Smarter, clearly, the innovative and smart economic transformation, greener, low carbon, including energy transition, circular economy, more connected Europe, broadband mobility, more social Europe, and Europe closer to citizens, very much urban-related initiatives. The scope of our support is as well very clear where we want to invest, and I would like to point out from all this, which is in detail in Article 4, the element which is in the here. If you are in the talking about the innovation technology, we think the equipment, software, and intangible assets. And the intangible assets is something that we would like to very much promote in development. And I would like to point out to the other 2 points, which are new elements in our policy in the innovation development scheme. It is about the skills. Yeah. So skills were not. It wasn't possible to finance from ERDF. It was possible to finance from ESF. In practice, it was that very often it had the operational problems to have really integrated projects, and skills are very much part of the change. So this, and as we are always asked if we can finance large enterprises, we are saying yes for research and development very much, but we want them to be embedded in the local communities, so they need to work in value chains and supply chains with small and medium enterprises for research. But this is, I think, very much in line what Philips is doing actually in Eindhoven. There is the kind of ring fencing, or we want to encourage the member states to invest in smart growth. The more developed they are, the more we expect them to invest, and actually this comes naturally. When I give example from Netherlands and Finland, they want all money that they have from ERDF actually invest only in the policy objective 1 smart. So this gives them as well here the possibility, which of course it's not just very much separated, because if you are investing in circular economy, energy efficiency, you are investing in smart growth as well. So this is clear. But given that there are still very much infrastructure needs in less developed regions, you need to create certain preconditions to the economy to grow. We have put less as a kind of encouragement for less developed regions. So with our analysis, it is as well very clear that there must be certain preconditions met in order the economic and innovation system works at the territory. And from all our experience that we had on introducing the smart specialization in the new cohesion policy in 2014-2020, on the basis of the studies, on the basis of work with regions, this is what we came up with a proposal. So definitely we want the member states to have certain elements being analyzed and taking actions for this. One of them is innovation, diffusion. So bottlenecks in diffusion, we are talking about the really ecosystem, where how the transfer of knowledge is flowing from large enterprises to SMEs, from universities to SMEs to large enterprises. What is the role of science, technological parks? What is the role of technological transfer offices? How it works? Is it real, artificial? Is it functioning? Not. The second is we see that very often, if you don't have a clear responsibility of the roles, who is doing what, it's blurred. It's lost in space, and the ones who are not really making the good progress in smart specialization strategies are the ones who don't have this very clear, responsible body. Monitoring and evaluation, if you want to really have the learning loop, and this is the something that you need in order the smart specialization with our what we call entrepreneurial discovery process, this interactive, participatory method of working at the territory where all involves actors. We are talking quadruple helix, but actually all actors who can contribute to local development in innovation field work together to have new ideas and discover what can be competitive advantage for the region. That's why we have very, and this is one of the most important for us, effective functioning of entrepreneurial discovery process. And there's the semantics about what it means effective. The semantic is very clear. It is working, so that you don't have workshop once or twice a year saying that you had the people working together, but you have the constant groupings of people with public administration facilitating this process. And we see very clearly that the regions who are at high innovative ladder, they are having this. Yeah? Okay, then we have the link to European semester and the reforms of the research and innovation system. And one, industrial transition. This is something which is coming. Industry 4.0, additive manufacturing, the things which are just, we need to have this transition very much. We need to make awareness of everyone that this is happening. Yeah? Then it's still some are sleeping, not being aware that this is happening. And in order to do this in dynamics of the change, the action is needed. And international collaboration, this is exactly the European dimension and the exploitation of our single market, which is not to the end as much used as we could. So the new eligibility map, this is the again the same split for less developed transition and more developed regions. 75% of money goes from the European Regional Development Fund to the ones in red. So the investment in smart will be there as well. And we broaden smart specialization concepts, not limiting it to research and innovation only, but just to economic transformation as such. And for this, you need to have SMEs very much involved in this, embedded in the process, with skills training, with skills upskilling, reskilling, and digitalization being everywhere, wherever we can, at every step. And interregional cooperation in value chains, building the European value chain. So, summarizing, we are having the testing with 10 regions and 2 member states. The new kind of developed, evolved smart specialization strategy, or we're starting to call it economic transformation, comprehensive economic transformation strategy based on smart specialization. At the same time, we are building on what was now. And this is the link, you will get the slides, the link to our RIS3I, the web page. I will not use time for this, but you go through this 5 years of 6 years of designing and implementing smart specialization. There is crystallization of topics and themes in the regions and member states, so that the member states can find out what are the related areas they can work. This is the link for health, and actually if you look at this, health is everywhere, yeah, in different settings, equipment or food, everywhere is health. So I cannot say that you can, but for example, you can do the exercise use of furniture and health, and you have Veneto, for example. They are specializing in this. I don't know why, but they do it. So the regions can get the first contacts, and the first contacts actually can lead, and this is something that I would go into interregional and the European dimension of this, because we want to develop this. We started 2 years ago when I had the pleasure to be here. I told you that we want to bring them in. Right now we have 26 partnerships in different fields, in energy, industrial modernization and agriculture, 26 regions, partnerships gathering more than 100 regions starting to work together. In the very specific field of health, we have personalized medicine with the leading regions of East Netherlands, Flanders, and Limburg, which they already identify more focus areas like personal data management platform, cell therapy, preventive medicine. And then we have medical technologies as well, yeah, with the lead of French Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes and Lombardy. And they as well identify already connected health, biomaterials, and implants they want to work, and medical devices. And this is the starting point, because it takes time for them to get together. And this is what we have in the process, like Learn and Connect. It takes time to identify what are the actors in your regions in order to bring them together. Now the bottleneck is for us, because we are more ambitious. We have more ambition than just bringing them to collaborate. We want them to invest together. Yeah, so we want them to invest in a specific joint project. So this demonstrate commercialized scale-up phase is still in red, because we are piloting this with the most advanced partnerships, 8 partnerships, where we want to finish with concrete investments. Not collaboration of regions, but collaboration of actors, of innovation actors, business researchers from across Europe, in order to get really new projects on the market. And this is something that up to now we were missing, because there was collaboration, but collaboration between regions very much on the basis of exchange of experiences, policies, and so on. Here we want to have real, genuine interregional investments. And for this we propose new instrument in European territorial cooperation. We propose as a Commission €1 billion. This is as well an element for the cohesion, because when we bring different actors, the fusion and spillover effects will be accelerated. The knowledge spillovers, the knowledge transfer will be as well faster to less developed, so the diffusion will move on. And the last, very quickly, there is always the very fashionable talk about synergies, because you have the European Regional Development Fund shared, but you have all other direct management funds. There are all these funds. You can read for the slides. There is two elements I want to point out. There is the possibility of using projects from direct management with the rules of direct management by regions, and so-called seal of excellence. So the projects which are already identified by the central evaluation, that they can be financed also from European Regional Development Fund. I'm going to finish on this. All this right now, the possibility is to have these synergies with all the direct management funds with the European Commission. For Horizon Europe, I just want to, you know about missions, and you had probably, there are 5 clusters. One of clusters where the Horizon 2020 will be working on is health. So the collaboration in this field is needed. So at the end, thank you very much, and I hope it was quite clear.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to work, and now it's your turn. So you will now invited to vote. I will give you to explain the
People are already voting. So for those of you who were not voting yet, go to your app, to the voting part, and then please choose yes or no option, so we can all see what's your perception on the question asked.
and a question concerning the system of voting.
If anybody needs any assistance, please just raise your hand and you will be given a help in that. Okay.
Can we close the voting? Yeah, so, using the terminology from the parliament, the vote is closed. But I know why it's changing. I mean, it's more and less. It's just 100%. Sometimes it's bigger and some is small, but still it's 100%. Very, very dangerous solution. I mean, if the because everybody agrees that the EU funds should support health system reforms in the member states. I mean, just to underline that in the question is not should the European funds support the health system, but this is to support health system reforms. So I think that this is the small detail. If I understand it is not by chance when the organizers they put this kind of question, because in the European funds after 21 we will have also money for the structural reforms. So it's also should European money support the reforms, for example, the reforms of health system. So I understand the answer is yes. So that should be supported. One thing is quite tricky, that the support for the reforms is based on the voluntary decision of the member states. So if the member states they want European money to reform or not, this is also the question if they want to have the reform. But anyway, thank you very much for your answers, and I will now to ask the question to the representative, to Madame Claudia Ionescu from BIRDA, and the question is the access is on the European funds issue in your region? Could you share any examples of the EU investment that helped in addressing this issue? Should the EU funds support national health care system? Now we speak about the system, not about the reform of the system. Okay, so the floor is yours. Up to you. Do you want to stay or you want to go? Okay.
But I won't leave the room. So many questions. I will answer the first question, yes and no. No, because there is plenty of room for improvements in region Bucharest-Ilfov. And yes, I will show you some examples. So examples from the region Bucharest-Ilfov. But at the beginning, I would like to introduce you briefly. The region is one of 276 EU regions, NATS 2. It's a developed region in European Union, and of course is the second richest region in eastern part of Europe. One of the smallest region in Romania. We have 8 regions, and Bucharest BIRDA is an executive body. All the regions are for social economic development, so are not administrative regions. And there is a decision body called Council for Development of the Region. As you can see, BIRDA is implementary body for regional operational programs since Romania entered in the European Union in 2007. BIRDA provides specific services for public authorities, small enterprises, NGOs. So together we developed the region with European money that came through regional operational program. As you can see, nowadays we have almost doubled the amount of money for Romania, and for the most developed region, Bucharest, is it's doubled, but it's the smallest amount of money. What we have done, to answer to your question, regarding health infrastructure in the region, we spent some money to improve first the social infrastructure in the previous period of time. Like here we have an example from Ilfov County. It's a hospital in Ilfov. Other examples are from Ilfov, from Voluntari, Saint Irina Social Center. and also a social center of Federation of Jewish Communities from Romania. What happened there? They rehabilitated and modernized that centers, and of course they got some modern equipments. Also for micro enterprises, they had the chance to develop their businesses, like Infosan, Brâncuș Medical Center, and small stomatology center. Brâncuș Center is a large center for prevention, therapy, and other kind of clinical health interventions. Something very useful. It's spectacular. The photos are wonderful, but one of these two photos show you something very useful. A mobile hospital. So it could be very useful for event of emergencies. It was about the past, but nowadays, what has cohesion policy ever done for Romania? Nowadays, regional operational program unfortunately didn't sustain in Bucharest Ilfov region health care, but we hope in the future. We have in the region an important scientific park. Like you can see here, it's about Măgurele Scientific Park. This park provides a good infrastructure for medicine, for optoelectronics, for researchers. This park is sustained by Ilfov County Council and other important institutions from Romania, but grow up with the help of 13 members from Europe and not only. So it is chance not only for Romania, it's a chance for Europe to research more about future equipments and to help the people, not only in Bucharest Ilfov region, also in Romania and European Union. Here in this room there is the representative of Scientific Park, the executive director, Dana Mocanu. She is here, and at the end of this session, if you'll have questions, if you would like to know more details about the Scientific Park, she is available for you. But at the end, I would like to tell you that Bucharest Ilfov region is in Brussels for a few days more, and we organize as BIRDA 2 more events in European Parliament. One will be on 16 of October and the other one on 17 of October. You can register on our website. If you have time, you are welcome. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay. I would like to ask you if you have any remarks or questions or asking for some more details, something from the panelists or from the audience. If it's not the case, so well, let's go to another questions for you. This is question number 2. Do you believe that digital transformation of the healthcare sector will serve patients in the long term? And now the vote is open. Okay, so can you say the vote is closed? And what do you see now? That do you believe that the digitalization, the healthcare sector, will serve patients? This is not the questions to the people from the enterprise. I mean, it's like, do you know? But this is the question of belief. Do you believe that the digital transformation healthcare sector will serve patients? And I think the big majority believes that it will serve the patients for the long term. And I think this is something which is, I mean, full of hope that the digital transformation will serve. I'd rather say, I mean, that the health sector will be able to serve, but will it serve, we will see. It depends in which hands it will be, because the digital transformation is not only a question of technology, but the question is who is the owner of technology, and who owns it, and so how he can use it, for which reason. And we hope that technological progress is always positive. I mean, just like in the hands of the people, responsible people. And so let's hope that this is when we see the biggest actors in the US, what they are working on now, this is about the length of life. I mean, mainly. I mean, how to make the life of the people now limited. I mean, this is, I think, the last investments of the big enterprises in the Silicon Valley. They are working not now about the autonomous cars. They are now working on the life of people, how to make it without limits. But anyway, this is not about this. The question is, we believe that the system will be in the good hands and will help the patients. And I would like, so I will ask the representative of Philips, is digital transformation an option or a must? How digitalization will improve the efficiency of health system, and what are the barriers and desired policies to enable the digital transformation boost across the Europe? I mean, this set of questions shows that it's not something which is obvious. I mean, we should understand the whole complexity of the problem. So now the floor is to the representative of Philips.
Can I use your...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, good.
It's not easy for the politician to share with someone, but anyway.
Thank you so much.
Go.
Now, at least I think what is interesting is that at least one person or two people said no, and I think that's always good for a debate. Recently there was a survey done in Poland which actually had the same question. It was done to people over 60 years old. And they were saying, hey, do you believe that technology and connectivity will help you in your healthcare, in your health going forward? And 70% said yes, which for me was slightly surprising, but I think very encouraging. And why do I say encouraging? Because we know that we're getting older, we're not getting healthier, and that means that the pressure on the current healthcare system is enormous. At the same time, you see that in hospitals, the resources are enormously constrained. I live in Poland, and you see that a lot of Polish doctors and nurses are actually going abroad and working there, which even increases the problem. So you will need a solution for this. And I strongly believe that one of the solutions is in connecting care. And this is done by IT infrastructure and transforming healthcare. Now, why will IT help with this? I think one of the things that is important is that today the data is very much spread over different care settings. If you are going to a general practitioner and consequently to the hospital, the data is not so easily exchanged. If you then go to a different hospital, the whole questionnaire starts over again. If we could connect that data, not only would you empower the doctors to have a better insight into what has happened before and therefore allow him to make a better judgment on what to do, but it will also empower you as an individual to carry that data and basically control your own health. If you then combine the different data sets of individuals and look at it at a larger perspective, it actually allows you to make analysis and predictive treatments. And I think there was a mention in the beginning, Marek, in genomics. This is basically the run into genomics. If you take that at a higher level, you can actually find out which treatment methods are more effective than others. and therefore make sure that what you do is most effective. In Philips, we try to look at the whole, what we call continuum of care. So it actually starts with healthy living. It starts with exercising, good diet, sleep. Maybe interesting to know that if you sleep 5 hours a night versus someone who sleeps 8 hours a night, you have 80% higher chance of getting a cardiovascular disease. And still people sleep a few hours a night. It then starts with prevention. It was also mentioned, I think prevention is so crucial and still underutilized. Catching diseases early, whether that's cancer or COPD or sleep apnea. It allows better treatment, it allows people not to go into the hospital, not to go to acute situation. If you then go into the hospital, it's then absolutely crucial that you have a sharp diagnosis, but also that all the data is available to make the best assessment possible. And then actually when you are going out of the hospital, it's important that you continue monitoring. Because like I said, we're getting older and we also will have chronic diseases. So if you're over 60, you're very likely to have at least one chronic disease. And I think about 50% will have 2 or more chronic diseases. So you will need to live with those diseases at home. And technology can help by providing the data also to your physician to make sure that when something is going the wrong way, he will intervene before you actually have to go to the hospital. Now those are a few thoughts around digitization and how important it is. Perhaps there's any questions.
Yes, please. Any questions or remarks concerning this element of our discussion? Please, the floor is yours. Who wants to take the floor? Some of the panelists. I have the question because very often we are mixing, I think, 2 elements. One element is just the people. They say, do you believe that the new technology will save you your life? Means that if I go to the hospital and there will be the new machine who will first make the diagnosis, and then the machine will tell what they should do and even say what kind of medicine, and of course all the machine will repair my body. And the other element is digitalization. I mean, digitalization, of course, is partially about this, but partially about the using data to help the people. I understand that is it the same? Is it the same field, or they are different fields? I mean, one is technology in hospitals in medicine, and the other is digitalization in the health system. Are we talking about the same thing, or they are separate?
Well, I think that they're very closely related. If you think about, let's start with let's say the capturing of data. If you are in a hospital, you have a monitor. It tracks your, for instance, your heart rhythm. But that can easily be done at home as well. Now, first starting with the data that's being captured. What can be done is that when you are in a hospital where maybe not sufficient staff is there, the staff doesn't have to monitor your progression of your heart rate, but actually an algorithm in the background will start monitoring that. If it sees a decline in your condition, it can trigger an alert and call in a doctor. So those are things that has artificial or adaptive intelligence that already today is actually being used in hospitals. The other thing is, indeed, I think that you're referring to this, is that when you look into the regions, where if you're in a city, typically you have the access to good care. But if you're further away, sometimes hospitals are not as well equipped or do not have the sufficient staff. By using telehealth, you can actually provide access to those doctors who may not be in that hospital, but they may be sitting, for instance, in Bucharest, but serving then a patient somewhere in the countryside, and can be advising and consulting the local staff that may not have the specific knowledge on that incident to do better care. The second part of that remote care is indeed treating people at home. So if you are diabetic, you need quite close monitoring. That can be done by connecting patients to the hospital.
Can I ask you another
yes,
question?
Sure, yes.
Recently, 2 days ago, my TV has been broken, and I went to the specialized point, and I said, I need help, etc. And this lady was there and she said, but okay, but you can call me if you don't find a solution. I said, no, just call me. And she, no, I cannot. because this is the new legislation of data protection. So she cannot call me because of data protection. I can call her because there is no data protection on my side. So no, but maybe it's a very naive question.
No.
But of course, what about data protection? Is the doctor able to call me or not? What about this? Because maybe we will be in a trap. It means that we will have the new technologies and we will be blocked by the data protection. Isn't it a danger?
These are extremely important topics, and I think also something that is important. We talked initially about the different parts are needed to make this a success. Government is needed, and the EU, its academia is needed, and companies. Now, data privacy, data protection is absolutely crucial to protect our individual rights. At the same time, if you provide consent, you can actually establish that direct contact between the doctor and yourselves.
Yeah.
Already today, this is happening. So, for instance, ICU beds are being monitored from central locations to make sure that critical care staff is available. But the same goes for treating people with chronic diseases or the elderly. What is, I think, also another point that we didn't really touch upon yet is that by using this data, it doesn't only connect the doctor with the patient, it also actually allows for a much more efficient system, because if you do not have to go to the hospital or if you do not have to go to the ICU, you save enormous amounts of money. If you can avoid a heart attack, also your body is much stronger. After the first heart attack, the chance of having a second is much higher. So by monitoring people at home to avoid that happening, you save enormous amounts of money that can be then invested in other parts. So there's two elements there.
Any other questions or remarks, please? No? There is not the case? Okay.
Can you speak closer to the mic, please?
Yes,
Oh,
it's.
sorry.
I still didn't get the answer. It's if the doctor will call me or not. No, but it's very serious. I mean, because we see many institutions which completely are lost. They don't know what to do, and the institutions now are just exaggerating. So and they're blocking. But this, though it's technologically it would be possible. The question is if some of the, not the doctor, but someone from the hospital, it will be able to call the someone who is ill or not, or it will be blocked because of data protection. Maybe it's a detail, but this is about the systems which are not compatible. The system of data, big data, data protection, and the accessibility. So that's why my question was maybe naive, but 6 months ago, the same lady with the TV point, she called me, but today she said, sorry, it's over. So the technology is better, and now she cannot do it, because the new legislation doesn't allow her to do it. So my question was about this. I mean, do you have in the whole system of preparation of digitalization, do you think about the system of the data protection in general? So this was the question.
I think the answer is very complex.
Yeah.
And it will very much depend on the situation. It's just not about the data protection. It's also about liability, right?
Yeah.
If a doctor speaks to you on the phone, or at a distance, who's then the person responsible? So these are incredibly difficult questions that need to be resolved, and I think not one party can do that. And in my perspective, the European Union can play an enormous role in that, to give guidelines on how to do that. And if you look at different places in the world, that is solved in different ways.
Yes, I think that just to close this point, I think that we are facing the completely new challenges, that the new technologies should go hand in hand with the ethics. And I think this is not just about the technology. This is about the whole system. I mean, of treating one another. So I think we cannot avoid it, and it's good that the actors who produce the technology, they think about also the ethical consequences of the new technology, because something can be absolutely unexpected. That technologically is possible, from the ethical point of view, will not. So I think this is also important. So okay, let's go to another question, and now again about the beliefs. Do you believe that connected care will optimize costs of health system in your region? Please, the vote is open. Yes, so it's not statistical error. It's more than 10%. So it's not something we can neglect completely. So if it's not 100% clear that it will optimize the costs, I mean with the very simplified version that it will not be cheaper, but the to optimize the cost is only about the price, it's about everything. Maybe I will provoke the representative of DG Regio to say what. So, are you ready to address European money if it's not clear from the in public opinion, and not by the experts?
If I, there's definitely one. We think in just in user-driven way. Yeah. So from the perspective of the people who are sick or ill, who could be ill, that they can drive what kind of innovation could be. And when you are talking here about the connected care, some of them probably are not even aware yet that there are possibilities for them to be connected for their own health. So this is something which there's a role for public authorities to raise awareness about what is available, and to work together with doctors, with the whole healthy and the innovation system to make this the one you mentioned that in remote areas, for example, it's about connecting for health reasons. The best I know are Swedes who are already in their remote areas, have the system with broadband, which is monitoring people, how they behave, how they so that they can be alerted whenever is something wrong. They have the doctor advisory just through internet. They don't need to take 100 kilometers to get the specialist right. They got the diagnostic online. But I think very much about it's about the awareness of people that this is possible, this is available. I think the communication is still missing, and there is a role for public policy, public institutions to do it as well.
If I can add something, I think there are two actors which should be addressed. One is the patients, and the other is the owners of the hospitals. Because the owners of the hospitals, for them to optimize the costs is absolutely crucial. Like, for example, if we have public hospitals, what you said about public body, if the region is the owner, or the city is the owner, or public body is the owner, for the public owners of the hospitals is absolutely crucial. I mean, the costs. I mean, the optimization of the cost. But of course, for the private, is the same. But there may be a little bit different motivations. But this is public money and this is the private money. But I think to optimize the costs is something absolutely basic. Because normally the patients, they don't think about the costs. They think about the price. The price of the service, but the owners, they speak about costs. I don't know if you have anything to add to this.
Yeah, I think, Jan, what you describe is basically value-based care. So the patient is not interested in the activity. They're not interested in a CT scan or an MR scan or 1 or 2 or 3 doctor visits. What he's interested in is getting healthy. Yeah. And to be able to do that, you need to be able to measure what's now impactful. And that's not only good for him, it's actually also good for the healthcare system, because that will allow for more efficient treatment. Therefore, it will be less costly. But it's equally interesting for the private sector, where it's a business venture, and also there they will be looking at optimizing cost versus the quality of care. Now, if the quality is not there, people will not come to that hospital. Yeah. So you need both.
Yes, if you allow me, I can give you another example. In the budget committee in the parliament, some of my colleagues say, we have to work in such a way that the European citizens, they understand the budget. I said, congratulations. Congratulations. Do you know anybody who understands the budget of the city, from the city? But of national level? Who understands the budget of national level? Some experts. Who understands the European budget? Some of the members of the parliament, but not all of them. So, I mean, this is completely wrong. The question is, will the citizens support what you would like to do? The citizens will ask, are you doing everything to protect me? Do you everything for the service for me? This is the question. This is the budgetary question. And for the politician, I mean, this is important, and not how the budget is constructed. This is completely fake. I mean, this is absolutely something my colleagues politicians, they love. I mean, let's make it transparent for the people. I mean, beautiful. It's just like, again, is it necessary to explain to the patient the whole complexity of the cost? No. No, the patient is waiting for have a good service. This is what he's interested. No matter if he's the doctor or politician or someone who is just, that's okay, let's not continue. All right, and so that's why I now would like to ask and to give the floor to Professor Marek Zik, who is from my region, from Silesian University of Technology. I'm very proud that we are together in the panel. And I would like to ask Professor, is the connected care the solution for improving access to high quality care? Should the EU invest in scaling up successful pilots, or should it be left to the regions? The floor is yours.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like thanks to organizer for my invitation and possibility to an opportunity to introduce, I think, absolutely unique project, which is made by Silesian University of Technology, my faculty, biomedical engineering, and thanks to support from Philips company. I come from Silesia. Silesia is the south part of Poland. I represent Silesian University of Technology. It is the biggest technical university in my region and one of the biggest in my country. The university consists of 14 faculties, and I'm a dean of one of them, biomedical engineering faculty, only one in our country. We have the highest scientific level because we have A category. My faculty is divided into 4 departments. We have bioinformatics department, biomaterials, biomechatronics, and biosensor departments. And my faculty was founded in 2010. And my first cadency as a dean started in 2012. Then our situation was quite difficult because we have students and staff without laboratories, without infrastructure, and step by step we built our scientific potential. At the moment we have 3 buildings, we have quite good equipped laboratories, but the project, we hope that it will be our milestone for our scientific potential development. Let me to tell a few words about the project. As I said, the project is absolutely unique in our region and I think in our country too. Why? Because of the budget. Budget is 22 million euro, and it is project founded by European Community, but without private business we couldn't realize the project. Contribution from Philips is 20%, and that's why the project is unique, because it is connection between public institution, between university and private business. Thanks to the project, we establishing R&D view laboratories, information system for medicine, computer vision and virtual reality, planning surgical procedures, rapid prototyping, studies of implant structure, implant surface functionalization, engineering support in dentistry, testing mechanical properties of medical devices, control and measurement system and biometrics, studies on human locomotion system, either design of biomechatronic equipment, biomorphic materials. Thanks to the project realization, we develop our potential, especially in several scientific fields, in digital radiology, computer-aided diagnosis, telemedicine. We have several, I think, interesting projects. Telemedicine nowadays is very popular scientific area, especially according to demographic problems, because we hope that the technology help to care older people and make them safer. Computer-aided surgery, it help us to develop minimally invasive procedure, and rapid prototyping. Thanks to the project, we equipped our laboratory. We buy special devices which help us to produce different implants. Next scientific area is engineering support of musculoskeletal system diagnosis. At the moment, physicians, especially based on non-objective method, but we hope that thanks to the project realization, we improve objective method of the evaluation of different treatment methods in rehabilitation. Next, production of personalized biometric biomechatronic systems, mobile system supporting therapy. VR technology is very useful as a motivation during rehabilitation, during typical rehabilitation. And cognitive system we develop, but thanks to the project, our potential will be much more higher. It is intelligent data analysis and medical informatics generally. At the end of my speech, I would like to say that we hope that thanks to the project, thanks to the cooperation, especially thanks to the cooperation with so famous company like Philips, we prepare much more attractive offer for international cooperation. And the questions generally demand much more analysis, and it is complex. I think that if we talk about investment for such project, it is better when a region have money for such investment. Because I'm afraid that if we apply to European community, I mean my university, it will be difficult to get money for such. I think a center with the center give us high potential of our research. It's difficult to answer for the question, but I think that we have to invest in regional such projects. Thank you for your attention.
Can you stay there? And okay, before giving you the floor, possible questions, and I will ask to a representative of European Commission. No, but this is the question is because what you can hear in the European Parliament is that I must tell you that there are very mixed reactions. Some of the people in the Parliament, they said that this kind of investment should be financed only from the new horizon. I mean, Horizon 2020, post 2020. I mean, from the research, which is of course decided in Brussels. This is direct management, and the answer is, but yes, but you have very active actors, not only in the biggest countries in the rich, but also, for example, in Poland, working with the other companies. So, some of the authorities of regions and big cities, they come to see us and they say, listen, we shouldn't do it because the research is not for us. The research should be made by the universities, research, etc. We should use European money for the implementation in the, like, for example, transport, etc., etc. So it means that the question is to represent the Commissioner, who should do it, in fact? I mean, what is the whole point of view of DG Regio for this kind of project? Should we finance from the regional funds, or it's rather from the Horizon, or they should look for the partners like Philips, or both?
Thank you very much for the question, and I think the answer is simple. If we if we take the final user point of view. So the final user point of view, and we are promoting the smart specialization because we want to respond to local needs and to build the local capacity to respond to the local challenges and local talents to work together and businesses to work together, developing this. This is what is in essence of smart specialization. So very place-based. So this, I think it's not a question if this is going to be financed from Brussels or this is going to be financed in region. The thing is that the European Regional Development Fund are the European money as well. So this is the budget of the European Union. It's about giving discretion for decision making to the managing authorities in the regions to find the possibilities that there is the researcher, talented group of people who can build this, and this will never be found by any analytics or from a very central place. I think the Horizon 2020 is about what we want to make a clear demarcation. It's about the excellence in science, why the Research and Development Innovation Funds in European Research and Development is for regional relevance. Yeah? So if you have science excellence and regional relevance, this is the best. But it doesn't always have to be. Sometimes you simply need solutions which you need at the territory, and then you need to invest at the territory because it was identified in the territory what is the need. So you are, I think, closer to citizen for having this. And if you allow me, the component 5, what I present, because I hear some resonance people saying that this is going to be from Brussels. It's not going to be from Brussels. Actually, this is going to be in a bottom up. If you have right now built the infrastructure, this is the best way in order to use it is to go and present what you can do and get linked with the others. Philips can facilitate this because they have networks, connections, but the region can facilitate as well because they have other regions which are working on biomaterials. We have the partnership in 3D printing. The people are working are needing. They are in need for researchers who are working on biomaterials for 3D printing, and then so you can get in touch, but you need to get these people who know. It will not be the policy officer in any of the administration who know exactly what kind of biomaterials, how can be used, what kind of project is needed, what kind of research infrastructure can be used. And the people don't know that you have this infrastructure. This is another story. Yeah? So in Europe, so linking this. That's why we want this component 5 very much to link what I think this is the untapped potential of the European Union. And this is something that we completely don't use. And this is something that we hope it will be the precedence to really make it European innovation project. So so I don't think it's an issue Brussels or regions. I hope it should correspond to the needs of the territory.
But if may I join something, because we still talk only about research, but we forget about education. Education is very important too. Thanks to the laboratories, we produce much more better engineers.
Yeah, but I have now I'm just becoming the role of typical parliamentarian. I will attack Commission. But sorry, but this is about Brussels origin. This is about Brussels region, because if, for example, the university inside the ADRBI wants to find money, the question is, where is money? Now, the question is not the complexity. Where is money? If if there is Brussels, is the open tender. The open tender is between the biggest and the most, the biggest and the most important. I mean, it's excellence. The possibility to get money from the horizon is very, very limited. It's very limited. In contrary, in the regional level, this is the region which decides. So with such an initiative, it's much clear. So I would just suggest, maybe not to attack, I will resign because this I don't have time. I would suggest to redefine the regional interest. Because if I hear regional interest, is it in the regional interest, this kind of thing? I don't think so. It's a much more global interest. And what you are doing is not for region.
But for region too,
No.
because we cooperate very
Please
closely
don't
with many
destroy
hospitals.
my I'm trying to defend you. No. For me, regional, in a very, simplified version, is something which serves region. But in the regional importance means that the region can be important not only on the local level, but on the bigger scale. I mean, the regional interest is what can make the region stronger. So if the region is stronger, having very good economic actor, so this is the regional interest. So if we understand each other, regional interest is not something which is regional, but this is the interest of the region to support something which can make the region more visible, modern, etc. So I think that because the content is absolutely global, but the way of doing. So I think that we should absolutely defend, together with the Commission, to defend that this kind of project should be supported from the cohesion, by the region. They should be supported because to go to Brussels and to Horizon, the success is very limited because we have twice or 5 times more demands than the possibilities, as you know, is in Horizon. So if we understand each other, so this is the regional meaning and interest. Yes, please.
Absolutely so, and this could be slogan, but strong region is strong Europe. Yeah? Strong regions is strong Europe. The thing is, if you think in a smart specialization concept, if you are, let's take this example. If you are developing, first of all, researchers, then if this is depending on the educational system, if the educational system is flexible enough that you can, and here we are coming with the skills component of the new that you can immediately react and prepare new departments, new faculties, which are exactly teaching for the needs of the industry sectors. Then we have, of course, then the other the market which is being created along this what you have in the region, and then the networks which they have, the networks that they can go beyond the region to service what you have, to provide the possibility to have access to the equipment that you have as well. And this is what at the end of the day develops you, because you have the interaction contact with the others, you are able to benchmark yourself, and the more you are open, the more you actually learn from the others. You don't break the open doors. So this is developing your nodes, let's say, and in our, I mean, it is difficult implementation, but this is what we are aiming at. Is with these partnerships, you are developing these nodes in their areas of specialization. So let's imagine that you are build network with this additive and manufacturing, and you will start because you have good equipment, you have good people, researchers, you know how to do it. Build biomaterials for this 3D printing implants, and it's all intersectoral. And then you are developing yourself, and then you have other areas that you develop with this. So you are growing as a region, and the EU is growing because it's connecting the capabilities. So absolutely, this is reinforcing each other. So strong regional nodes of smart specialization, these niches, where you can have a competitive advantage, but competitive in knowledge, but as well in economic use of this knowledge, being structured in interlinked with the others in Europe. This is something that, in our view, develops Europe.
Any reaction from Professor at the end?
I'm absolutely agree with John, because without investment in our region, we didn't get the project. and we have not opportunity to develop. But of course, the biomedical engineering demands for developing international cooperation. That's why we hope that next perspective spend a lot of money for biomedical engineering development.
Okay.
That's why.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor. Two additional remarks. One was the advantage of such a conference, that I discovered what is going on in my region. So I'm getting very proud that we are so advanced. And the second is critical. Professor, you don't listen or watch television because you haven't noticed that one of our persons in the government said that the European money is only for the repair of the pavements. So this is from the last days, and this is our Polish debate. Okay, so final some minutes. I would just to ask any other remarks from the floor. If it's not, oh, okay, 2. Let's go then, madam. 3. Yes, first you please. Can we have anybody with the microphone or something? This lady in the middle. Yes. Can you raise your hand, please? Okay. And can you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Magdalena Macharska from Kostier. I would like to ask a question which goes back to the first voting on whether EU funds could support healthcare system reforms. And my question would go to Mr. Przeor on behalf of DG Regio and to Mr. Jan Olbrecht on behalf of the European Parliament. My question is, so we were talking mainly about the EU funds, including structural funds that refers to European Regional Development Fund and the ESF Plus, Invest EU as well. But my question is, I want to know your opinion whether you think if the cohesion funds could also support healthcare system reforms and thus subscribe to this environment-oriented goal. Thank you.
I think let's go like ping pong because it's better. Yeah. Just very short answers. I will have a short answer to you.
The answer you mean about the European Regional Development Fund or Cohesion Fund?
Cohesion Fund.
The Cohesion Fund. Can of course, but it must be the point is that in order not to scatter the funding, it must be in line with the strategies. Yeah. So you might, if eligible, of course, at the certain territory, you might use, but it's not. The main problem was always the scattered investments. Yeah? So if this is in line and if you take this example, if you take this example of it's been developing the biomaterials or bioengineering, and you can take the investments which are related to this development and not any. Yeah?
My answer to you from the European Parliament is no. Why? Cohesion Fund has been created during the Maastricht Treaty for the reducing the investments of the country, especially when prepared to the Eurozone. So this is a special address. And the Cohesion Fund, especially today, is losing the importance very, very significantly. Cohesion, European Commission wants to reduce its 46%. So 46% plus 10 billion going to Connecting Europe facility. So if you want to take from this part, which will be reduced for the investments in the health system, it's gone. I think that why they reduce, I will not replace the Commission, I will tell you what the Commission tell us. The Commission tell us because the very special time of treating new member states is over. So the Cohesion Fund will go to the, I quote, normal level. And normal level is 46% less. So I think it's quite surprising, but this is the reality. So let's not do it, because if we take even money from Cohesion Fund, let's do it from the other fund, from the RDF, from the SF Plus, health system, etc. This is okay, but not the Cohesion Fund. Another person from the
Thank you. My name is Ludi Schlageter. I work for Siemens Healthineers, and thanks for Philip's for organizing such an interesting session. This is the third time I'm doing a programming period, so I do have a little bit of knowledge of cohesion versus ESF versus ERDF. And so first of all, I would like to thank Mrs. Ionescu for having said that it's important and that she's looking forward, I think I heard, that healthcare will be again part of DG Regio's programming. Because in the last 7 years, it wasn't as it was from 14 to 7 years ago. And that is also my appeal. Please do understand that infrastructure and strong regions also depend on strong health, good hospital infrastructures, and these projects that were presented today, and they always also need equipment. So if you say we only want to have money for nurses, or I know every dollar or every euro is important, but in our case there is so much money available by the European Union that we could really use it for healthcare and healthcare infrastructure, and it's very important that we don't lose sight, no matter which program. And I mean, you know well that in the cohesion program, there were a lot of equipment bought through the cohesion program money from 14 to 7 years ago. So a focus would be good, and in that context, sorry that I talked so long, but in that context, my question would be your new program on the smart specializations. Is it a little bit like the joint undertakings that we know from DG RTD, or what is the concept?
Okay, so please don't speak about dollar during the open days. No, I was the rapporteur for ERDF last time, and I can tell you what was the situation when I was negotiating with the DG Regio at that time, and I said, health, no, culture, no, housing, no, and so it was the time. And the time is changed. Now it's different. Now it's fortunately it is different. So of course we managed to find some ways, and the Commission knows that we make a little bit bypasses during 14-20. So it's not true that nothing is going to hospitals. So we are trying to find it. But anyway, this was the time that special. We have to change it. I think we have to change. I think there are good signs from Commission now. So, but it was also the question to you about the program.
The main difference is that joint undertakings are created mainly by the need of sectors, yeah, and they are not interconnected with the regional strategies. The main idea of this new component, they are derived from the smart specialization areas of these regions, meaning they have the strategic importance for these regions to develop, and then what I was saying before, it is about developing these nodes and connecting the nodes of growth in the region. So this is the main difference with joint undertakings, which are very much focused on excellence and industry driven. Huh?
We have 1 minute, so we have another question, please. Last one.
My name is Dana Mucanu, I'm from Romania, and I have a very short question concerning the shift between the excellence, the fundamental research and the applied research. Could it be financed from Horizon to 2020, or it will be connected with the smart specialization strategy at the regional level being financed by from the EDRF? So it was also connected with your question when you started. How can we found the excellency reported to the development of the region all over the Europe?
The answer is not for 1 minute, but this is the opening the Pandora box. But okay, yes.
But from the point of view of the Commission,
Absolutely,
the shift between these two funds, meaning Horizon 2020 and the ERDF, in terms of excellency in research and applied research.
There's no. I mean, the shift. It's not really. It's not a shift. This is something which we rather emphasize what is already happening in 2014-20. But even putting more emphasis, we want to have economic relevance for the regional development. Meaning, if you want to have economic relevance for regional development, we are at the higher level of TRLs. We are at the technological readiness level 5, 6, 7, 8. but not at 1, 2, 3. We leave it to our colleagues in Horizon 2020, which is not excluded, but I think this is not a priority if you want to have the very relevant economic development. We aim rather at applied research and scale up and commercialization than fundamental research.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so any special remarks from the panelists? Here is not the case. I would like to thank. Maybe you can applaud the panelists. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we are in open day, so please remember when I talked to my Dutch colleagues, they said, when I say Philips, they said Eindhoven. So, so I think it's always someone is from somewhere. I think it's not from nowhere. And I hope that also when I speak about the new technology, this is from the Silesian University. So thank you very much indeed. Have a good day.
And we would like to invite everyone for the networking session that is at the end of the corridor 3110. So please come to network further. And all the materials will be up, so still download it if you haven't done so far. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.